Hello, welcome to our last match of the first week. We got the Spectral Steel Fencing Club, a newcomer to these tournaments, versus our runner-up of the last tournament, the Baltimore Throat Choppers. One of the two teams that got to keep their team name for their placement. Unfortunately, I was unable to see this one in person, so we'll be going over the replay. So it'll be a little faster, but yeah, I'll still kind of give my thoughts, see what's going on. All right, let's get started. Alright, so immediately we have our Tornadus lead. Makes sense for that tailwind into Volcarona. The main sweeper versus Slacking and Floking Galar. So we see an immediate swap to Luxray, getting it the Intimidate on the Slacking. And a taunt on to Slowking, which gets Mental Herbs. Probably going for Trick Room here if I had to guess, as Rock Slide comes out. So good swap on that Volcarona. Doing quite a bit of damage to Tornadus, and yep, Trick Room comes up from that Mental Herb. Swapping to Incineroar, get their own Intimidate off. We do see another taunt goes into Slowking to make sure it can't do anything. Psyshock's going to be the move picked, though. Just barely not killing Tornadus as Volt Switch comes out, and they go into Volcarona again, now that the Rock Slide's off the field. Gonna immediately hit Protect, though, gonna stall those Trick Room turns as Tailwind comes up in Trick Room. So Psyshock gonna hit Volcarona. So they'll get one turn of Tailwind. When Trick Room is over, U-Turn's going to come out and KO Tornadus, allowing them reposition to Slacking. But yeah, this is also going to allow Spectral Steel to put out Luxray for that Intimidate again, swapping to Oricorio. Once again, trying to stall out these Trick Room turns. Psyshock going to do quite a bit to Volcarona, actually. And Giga Impact is going to take it out even with that Terra. So probably expecting Rock Slide, but did not come out that time. So he's gonna be done taunting, so you can go for his supportive set now. Another Timmy is gonna hit Slacking though, so it's not too well here. And Psyshock not doing a ton to Oricorio, just barely less than half. Supercell Slam coming out, doing a lot. We're back to Slowking. Revelation Dance will pick up the KO. That's the last turn of Trick Room as well, so that's gonna be Trick Room done for the match. And so with this last turn of Tailwind, we'll see what they go for. First, there's a swap out of Slacking, get those Intimidate drops. We see a Protect and a Supercell Slam into Walking Wake. Gonna do just barely under half. And Tailwind's gonna be done for this turn. Another Tailwind just comes right back up. Another Supercell Slam. Not gonna pick up the KO, unfortunately. Its Hydro Pump is gonna pick up the KO on Oricorio. And we'll see, yep, this Incineroar goes for Flare, but it's doing a lot to Luxray. And yep, Supercell Slam's going to pick up the KO on Walking Wake, but I think this is just another Flare Blitz, if I had to guess, to end out the match, yeah. So game one goes to the Baltimore Throat Choppers. So yeah, we'll move on to game two here. So we got a little preview of their starts. So yeah, we see Hisui and Gudra and Rillaboom. So two Pokemon who did not come the first game, or starting this game. So we see a fake out goes into Slacking. Giga impacts, so that's Covert Cloak Slacking, I guess. And Gaster Acid's going to suppress the ability. Oh, let me turn this to slow. I was like, it's going really fast. Read to commentate over. Alright, so Tornadus is sent out to replace the Rillaboom got KO'd. Immediately terraing into Steel as he goes for Tailwind. And Body Press is going to do quite a bit to Slacking after that Shelter last turn. Slaking doing his thing as Acid Armor comes out. So we have two times defense Pokemon on the field here. Khan's going to go into Swallow, going to stop him from setting up again. Body Press going to pick up the KO on Slacking with those Tailwind turns. As Swallow goes for Body Press into Hisui and Gudra, but not doing a ton of damage, unfortunately. And the Grassy Terrain plus Leftover is going to heal it a ton. Intimidate going to come out. Not going to stop Body Press, though, as Rain Dance gets set up. Body Press gonna almost one-shot Incineroar, actually, as he goes for Flare Bullets into Tornadus, who lives because of that Rain Dance, and Incineroar dies to Recoil. Another Body Press coming out, doing a little bit more this time. But yeah, once again, that Grassy Terrain plus Leftover is just gonna heal it so much. Last Pokemon is Ceruledge. Not gonna appreciate this, this Rain that's out. As Shadow Sneak goes into Volcarona, but that swap from Tornadus is going to make sure he doesn't get a KO. Hydro doing quite a bit to Ceruledge as this Swallow just tries its best to take down Gudra, and it really just can't. Protector from Volcarona coming out. But Shadow Sneak goes into Hisuian Gudra this time. Not doing a ton though, as Draco Meteor would take out Cerulege, so it's a 1v3 on Swallets. Swallet does get the KO on Hisuian Gudra though, and so that'll be Tornadus comes out. So this is can Swalot beat Tornadus and Volcarona for the victory? Bleak Wind Storm doing a lot more than you'd like. This is two special attackers, and you are physically buffed, so you're going to be taking full damage. Body Press is going to KO Tornadus. Now, Volcarona is in the rain, so the Fire Dance is going to be doing a little less, but it does tear into the Fighting type, hoping to get more damage off these Body Presses. Which it does go for, doing actually quite a bit to Volcarona, but Volcarona is Citrus Berry, so it will live another. And the rain is gone, so yeah, I think this is a dead Swallow taking us into Game 3. Score is 1-1. Alright, so here we are at the third game. We'll see who manages to pull out the victory here on the last round. We see an Oricorio lead. Oricorio Volcarona possibly going for those dance setups as Slacking hits the field once again with Cerulege as his partner this time. So Oricorio in a bit of danger, but he swaps out Slowking here. It's Volcarona goes for Protect. And Oricorio goes for Tailwind. We'll see if Cerulege goes for the up. He goes for Poltergeist on Oricorio, but it is Sash. So it will live the turn. And Shadow Sneak will take it out, though, unfortunately. As Volcarona goes for Fiery Dance, doing not a ton to Slowking, who sets up Trick Room. Possibly thinking that, a Quiver Dance was coming out. You see a Terra Water Rillaboom, and a Sludge Wave comes out. No poisons, though, doing decent damage to everything. Poltergeist hitting Rillaboom for a lot of damage. And he goes for High Horsepower, which does KO Cerulege, so that'll be the last we see of him. And Quiver Dance. Volcarona is getting set up. That's definitely not what you want to see. Slacking is coming out, who we know has Rock Slide, so yeah, we see Protect from Volcarona coming out. And Skill Swapping, so Slacking no longer has Truant. Unfortunately, Rock Slide does not pick up the kill on Rillaboom, who U-turns out to Hisui and Gudra as their last turn of Tailwind goes up. So yeah, we see immediately swap to Incineroar to get an Intimidate off. Not going to affect Body Press though, which will hit to do about 30%. And Brick Break hits Hisui and Gudra, doing quite a bit of damage. And Fire Dance will just barely not pick up the KO on Slacking, but this Volcarona is now at 2 times special attack, so it is quite set up now. We see a swap to Galarian Slowking as it takes a Body Press, doing very little quad. Very effective. Flare Blitz hitting Volcarona, almost taking it out. It does get its Citrus Berry, though. As Quiver Dance gets set up once more. So Trick Room is now over. I mean, the Volcarona will for sure be the fastest thing on the field. As it hits Incineroar with a Fiery Dance, doing not a ton. Body Press, just barely not picking up the KOs. This is probably the end for Volcarona. Yep. As the Flare Blitz does take it out. We'll see what the Slowking does. It goes for Trick Room once again. Interesting play, because with Slacking, I believe Gudra is going to be faster. Well, faster, but it's slower, but this is Trick Room. So Rillaboom coming back out, putting up the Grassy Terrain. Faking out again, but we know this is Covert Cloak, so that's not going to stop its turn. Psyshock picks up the KO. Yeah, and Body Press will go into just barely not killing KO. Slack is probably Brick Break coming out. Yep, doing a lot of damage, but luckily the Hisuian Gudra is slower for Spectral, so Fencing Club, so that's going to be a KO on Slacking as it gets skill swapped. But yeah, it's just going to die, so now you have a True Haunted Slowking against Hisuian Gudra. Now I have been informed, I'm going to pick up the speed a little bit here, that this does go on for quite a bit, as these two Pokemon just kind of duke it out. Do see Truant gets swapped to it. Um, so now, yeah, now we have a Truanted Gudra versus a Psyshock doing very, very little. The Grassy Terrain will end this turn, so we'll be slowly racking up the damage. A Shelter, Shelter is going to make Psyshock do even less damage, though. Um, Yeah, probably just aiming for crits here at this point. You have to do with Slow King. Yeah, the leftovers is out healing your damage. Truant turns is going to help you live, but beyond that, not much is going to happen here. You're going to take another Hydro Pump. You have no healing yourself, so eventually Hydro Pump just going to take you out. So yeah, let me just take this to the hyper fast. Yep. Oh, just gonna keep hitting each other. Hydro Pump, Side Shock. I see Truon has been gone back to the Slow King, possibly hoping to PP stall, but yeah, turn 24, the Gudra managed to take out Slow King for a Spectral Steel victory.